All right, there we go. We are live now. So I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Today is May 23rd, 2023, and the time is now 7:08. And I'm going to call to order the District MDOT meeting for Prince George's County. For some of you all who may be here, this may be your first time being a part of the meeting or seeing any of these recordings. What this meeting is focused in on is addressing the issues concerning to the Maryland state roads that flow throughout Prince George's County, and also address even county roads now, because we even have a part of this meeting. We have the head of DPWT, Michael Johnson, who's here to take any concerns and issues with our county roads. So this is a good opportunity for us to address all issues and concerns pertaining to Prince George's County roads when it comes to cleanliness, and then when it comes to cutting the grass and making sure our community looks the way it should look. In addition to having MDOT, State Highway Administration's team on and DPWT's team, we also have the District 8 police team here as well with Captain David Hanson. And they bring up any help that we can get with holding folks accountable for litter and dumping all throughout our areas. So I'm going to go ahead and jumpstart this meeting. As you all know, the meeting takes place the fourth Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock every single month. And so we're going to walk through some of the issues that we came out with last month, I'm sorry. Becca, can you pull up the action items from last month? We can walk through those issues, and Justin, once they're opened up, you go ahead and take the lead and let us know what's happening on those roads. Yeah. All right, Justin.
Yeah, Delegate Charles, good evening. Give me 1 second. I'm having a little IT issue. Hold on 1 sec for me.
Okay. And then folks, after we finish, going through the action items, we want to ask that if you have issues or concerns or problems with particular roads, if you want to type it into the chat, definitely do that. That way it's easier for us to capture all of the actions. And then if you don't have the ability to be able to type it in the chat, make sure you raise your hand so that you can be called on and we don't have people talking over each other. And once you raise your hand, I'll be able to call you out so that you'll be able to address your concern and your issue. And Vinny, we're going to do that at the end.
All right, Delegate Charles, good evening again. I apologize, everybody. We are ready to start. Becca, or Delegate Charles, we're starting on the cameras. There we go. Plus the fake photo that moved the stock market. All right, for 202 and White House Road, there is no real update on that. Our traffic area is still working on updating signs and looking at what we can do for that, as well as getting as much signage out there as possible for the Prince George's County Police Department and MSP to be able to enforce things that are going on. I think also PG, police, touch base on a lot of these issues with the illegal parking and the littering in the area for vehicles that are parked overnight or parked for an extended period of time. Our last meeting, so they can update on that as we move through. The speed cameras, there is no update for the speed cameras on Ritchie Marble Road. That is going to be an extended period process that is going to have to go through the political channels first prior to anything, probably from at least a State Highway Administration standpoint, and I would venture to say Prince George's County Public Works as well. Mr. Johnson can speak on that if there's any updates for anything with DPWT, but I mean, it is a lengthy process for the most part.
Yeah, and this would be good. You guys can kind of ping off of each other too.
Sure.
So Mr. Johnson, if you want to chime in and give some feedback on to the speed camera issue when it comes to DPWT.
Sure. Thanks, Delegate. And good evening, everyone. The speed camera program in Prince George's County is really a Prince George's County Police Department program. The DPWT provides a support role when it comes to particular obstructions that might prevent the cameras from being, utilized, but it's largely under the control of the respective police districts. Along Ritchie Marlborough Road, we are in the process of, we have been for the past month or so, somewhere thereabouts, doing some engineering adjustments to the road that would allow the corridor that has a speed that's 40 miles an hour to be reduced to the 35 miles an hour that permits speed cameras to be installed. By the state law, that is one of the criteria that have to be met for the cameras to be installed. So once we have completed the engineering analysis and improvements to the road, it would then be possible to install the speed cameras along the corridor that is of concern to many of the residents in that area. So we're pretty close to sort of being completed with that. And, once that's done, the cameras will then be able to be installed without any problem.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mr. Johnson. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, and good evening, Director Johnson. Moving down to the panhandlers, that is, once again, it's not a state highway administration issue. That is, unless we get into the realm of them being like a homeless encampment, we would assist with that, but a simple panhandler, that's going to be a police issue. With that being said, we continue doing our litter cycles, so whoever brought this up at the previous meeting, they are concerned there's leaving trash everywhere. We're aware. We have trash at just about every intersection, whether there's panhandlers or not. So, I mean, we're still picking up the litter through these areas as we go along. Pennsylvania Avenue, Route 4 and Route 458. The advertising signs, we did do a blitz. And as you can see, the advertisement signs are right back up, just like they were never taken down. So that's going to continue to be a problem. I'm still working through our channels regarding the finding mechanisms that are actually on the books to see if we can revert back to that. There is discussion at that, but I don't have an update one way or the other than it's being talked about internally so, within just like Trade Zone Avenue and Route 301. We have done, since our last meeting, 2 litter removal days with our crews through that area. So it has been picked 2 times. I think the litter blitz that we did a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, made significant improvements. We are starting to see some of it coming back. The good news is the litter blitzes that we're doing are going quarterly at this point now. So instead of just doing one big one like we did right at the end of February, we're now doing them quarterly, and our current quarter litter blitz just started on Monday, yesterday of this week. So that's good news. For those of you who weren't on the meeting or don't know what I'm referencing on that, the litter blitzes that we're doing are where our entire maintenance facilities, all employees, all contract services are dedicated to doing nothing but litter removal. For this time, it's going to be a week. The first one we did was an entire month. The entire month also had crews from other SHA maintenance shops coming into specifically the southern Prince George's County area for the entirety of the month, picking up litter. So you should see, if you do see litter out there, we should be addressing the vast majority of that through this week. And then we'll continue to do our routine litter removal, which is currently scheduled for 4-week cycles for every road within Prince George's County. The 450 and Forbes Boulevard intersection, there is no update on that. Our traffic division is looking into that, but there is no answer. As soon as I do hear something, I will follow up with them following this meeting to see if they have an update further or they know we can get one, but until they have an update through whatever mechanism they're doing, I'm not gonna have anything for the meeting. The light on 301 onto Leland, the left turn signal, I did contact our signal division out of Hanover. They did come out and check the light for timing. They came back and said that the timing for the light is correct. And the inquiry into whether it could be turned into a flashing light, or if it could be turned into a flashing light during off-peak hours, because it's 301, the answer was no. So I don't know who brought that up at the last meeting. If you want to throw it in the chat, or if you want to contact me directly, if we're still having problems with the light, I can double down with them and see if we can try to figure that out. Maybe it's a specific time that it's having an issue. If we can narrow that down or whatever we can do, we'll get there if you want to throw it in the chat. The lane crossing Pennsylvania Avenue and Forestville Road, that is a police issue, and it has mark on police on this. So, Delegate Charles, we do have Prince George's County Police on this evening, correct?
We do. Captain Hanson's on, and I know last week last month he had mentioned about addressing that. Captain Hanson, you got any updates on that issue from last month?
I heard the tail end, the Pennsylvania and Forestville. What was the double cross, the double line and post significant danger. Yeah, so our community officers have been out there conducting enforcement. Corporal Wolford was leading that one up. And no, it's still going to be an ongoing thing that we're going to have to continually go out there and conduct more and more enforcement. It's not going to go away, anytime overnight. I was doing a little bit more research on the panhandling. I'm going to drop the county ordinance with regard to panhandlers in the chat box. When you get a chance, I would suggest to read over it. The state law, there's an exception for Prince George's County when it comes to panhandlers. So the county ordinance actually covers the panhandlers, and there's a large exception in the county ordinance that allows certain businesses to sell products along the roadway. So I'm gonna put it in the chat box for you guys to peruse, just so you guys understand what we're dealing with when it comes to the panhandlers.
Thanks, Captain Hanson.
I think
All
the
right,
next
Justin.
next two, Delegate Charles, I think are both Prince George's County for Director Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
I was getting some technical difficulties here. Okay, so what do we have here? Handicap access across walk. That's something I can raise with our traffic folks to see if the audible features can be added. I'm sure that's not a major problem, but I would have to have them. I would have to get back to you with how soon that could be done. And Silver Hill Road. Silver Road is a state road. Is that? Oh, the Forestville. Now that is scheduled for paving. That section there, and it should be paved, I believe, within the next 3 or so weeks. I believe that's the current schedule, weather permitting. So that should be taken care of within about the next 3 weeks or so. But I will get back to. Should I get back to Becca? I mean, how would I get the information back?
Yeah, just shoot it to my email.
Your email, okay.
And then Becca will extrapolate the information and make sure we have it updated in our chart to talk.
Will do. I'll do that.
All right. So those were the actions that came out of last month's meeting, and where we are now, we're going to go through the actions that have been broken out in the chat. Inside of the chat box, and then we're going to go And then we're going to go and ask, if everyone who has a question to raise their hand. And Vinny, I saw you had your hand raised first. And so after we go through the actions that's in the chat, Vinny, it'll be you, and then Ms. Wright, you'll go next. So let's get through the actions in the chat first.
All right, I am. 1 second. As soon as I bring the chat up, I lose the controls for the mute button. It looks like, Delegate Charles, the first one is going to be Ms. Goodwin, referencing Marlboro Pike being repaved. That'll be Prince George's DPW.
Yep.
All right, so that is under, it's in multiple phases. That's there's one phase that is almost ready for construction, phase 2, and the other one is still under design. So I can give the actual ETA. I'll send that again as to where, to your email address as to what the latest schedule is for both of the phases of Marlboro Pike.
Yeah, this is the issue that came up in the Forestville Estates meeting.
Right.
Right. So you guys have already started, after that meeting, you guys have moved forward with plans of action for the repaving?
The plans of action were already in place. They've broken it up into phases. That's one of the roads that are part of our efforts to reduce or improve pedestrian safety. So it's a bigger effort than just paving it. It's a full design. We're changing the cross section of the road so that so there's a portion of it that is close to being ready for construction, and then the other phase is in design. So I'll get you the details as to what the schedules are for each of the phases and the limits of the work as well. So that way you have a complete picture of where we are with it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And Ms. Goodwin, is that gives you the answer you're looking for?
Yes, it does. And if he can give me the EST on it, it would be greatly appreciative as well. Even though he said it's multiple phases that they're gonna have to do for his improving Marlboro Pike for his pedestrians and stuff like that. But if I can get something like a EST, it will be fine.
Yeah, I will get that from the engineer group, and I'll provide that to the delegate, and you'll be able to get it back to you.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Rob, then I see we have the next question from Tucker, Ms. Marsha Tucker. She's talking about Lanham Severn Road, Route 564. In the vicinity of Route 193 going towards Bowie was paved. Thank you very much. A few days later at the intersection of Wingate Drive at the entrance of Wingate subdivision in Glendale, it looked like someone spilled a bucket of white paint-like substance in the middle of the newly paved road, leaving it looking very unsightly. Could someone from SHA please take a look to see if they could address it? Second question is, I noticed there that the shoulders parallel to the main roadway were not paved. Can we get the shoulders paved as well to give the roadway a more complete look? And she put her email address on there as well. So one, what do we do in instance that happens? You get spilled paint on newly paved roads or just any road, county or state road. How do we address that to get the paint cleaned up so it's not an unsightly view? And then what do we need to do to pave the shoulders? So I'll go with you, Justin.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for your praise for the paving on 193. I will have our construction inspection staff go out and take a look at the spilled paint. That could unfortunately play out in a couple different ways. It depends on first what the paint is or what the substance is or the product is that's on the ground. Unless it is something that is easily removable either by pressure washer or by some kind of solvent that doesn't destroy asphalt. The only other options to remove it are to kind of scrape, or we call it milling, where they're going to actually come down and shave part of the surface off, and that is going to pretty much destroy the surface of the brand new asphalt. We have a couple other options. We get shot blasted, but once again, it depends on what it is. And shot blasting is pretty much where it shoots, millions of little tiny metal BBs at the road. And then it has a vacuum, self-contained vacuum system in it that recirculates the BBs. It just keeps kind of doing it to take a very light coating off the top. So it all depends, once again, on what it is. Sometimes the best option, unfortunately, is to leave it. It all depends also on what pavement markings it's covering up or what it's blocking by the paint that's on the road. So unfortunately, as you can imagine, probably the worst thing you could happen once you repave a road is somebody spills paint. So that happens actually all the time. So I will update the group next time after our guys have gone out and take a look at it, and throw out some options for you guys to try to get that taken care of. Regarding the shoulders and what took place on the paving. So paving happens in a lot of different kind of capacities. A lot of it depends on where the funding is coming from, whether it's state funding, whether it's federal funding, what the actual purpose of the project is, whether it's, a full mill and overlay of the entire roadway, whether it is, deep patching where they're doing small patches all over the place, or whether it's sealing or what have you. This project was funded to take care of the drivable portion of the roadway. The vast majority of our shoulders are, non-travel bearing, so they're not built kind of the same way that our roadways that you're driving on are built. Most of the time, to get as much paving done as possible, the shoulders don't need to be redone. And what you end up with temporarily is a very dark section of roadway that looks brand new and looks pretty, and then you've got the old gray section of roadway and they don't match. Given enough sunlight, that's going to change. They'll eventually match. Typically, we're not going to do any paving for strictly aesthetic purposes. That's not something the state of Maryland, and I would venture to say any other public agency does. So for that sole reason, we're not going to be able to get that done. The good news is that if they didn't repave the shoulders, that means that when they did their study in that area, the shoulders didn't need to be done. So we're saving money, and we're actually getting that money put on a different project within Prince George's County. So appreciate the question. I understand exactly what you're saying, because it does look very weird. But that's not one of the things that we do for aesthetics.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you with that. Ms. Tucker, did that answer your question effectively?
Yes, it did answer my question. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right. Next question that came up was from Dan Bayrand. And this is for MDOT. The intersection of Kenilworth Avenue, Maryland 201 and Good Luck Road only has 2 marked crosswalks with pedestrian signals. That means when my neighbor, who is a student at Parkdale High School, is biking home, or any other riders get off of Route 12 bus on the northeast corner, there are no marked crosswalks or signals to help them safely cross either Kenilworth Avenue or Good Luck Road. Is there any way an additional crosswalk could be marked? So is there a way additional crosswalks can be marked?
There's
So
always, I'm sorry, go ahead, Doug Charles.
No, I was just saying whatever you guys can do to do that to help him out.
Yeah, there's always possibilities to get that done. I'm never going to say no, there isn't. That does involve our traffic division, who would have to go through there, even though some of the things you would think are very easy, but they have to go through the engineering and approval process to get that done. Definitely have taken note, and I don't want to mess up the last name, but Mr. Bayrand, I'm assuming, if you could throw your email, or I can put my email in the chat, if you could email me directly so we can work on that. That we can get follow-up directly to you, because if it's a safety issue, we need to get it addressed if possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Does that answer what you're looking for, Mr. Bayron?
Yep, just really looking for folks to be able to cross in a marked crosswalk across those roads.
All right, all right. So Justin will get to you with the information. So make sure you put your email address in the chat, and then Justin will follow up with you to make that happen. I see Ms. Joyce wants to talk about the repavement of Off Road. Off Road, is that a state road or county road? Can't remember. Is that off of, I know it's off of 5.
I think we own a very small portion of Off Road. I think the county owns the remainder. But I think we brought this up in a previous meeting, if I believe, and I think it was the counties, if that's what we're talking about.
I know we did the last meeting we had, we were focusing in on Suitland Parkway, the entry point, because I got a bunch of complaints from folks about the part that goes towards Andrews Air Force Base. But for the Off Road piece, between you two, between Justin and Mike, what do we need to do to get that added to the list of repaved roads as well?
I believe when we our staff went out, they had a field meeting, and I think they reported back, confirmed that the portion that was in poor condition belonged to the state. Now, it wasn't a very large portion, if I recall what they're telling me. I would have to review the notes on that, but I can sort of find out. And it is possible that we might be able to pave it if it's faster. I don't think it was a very large portion of Off Road that was in poor condition, but I can check with that and get back to you with that. It's been a while since I looked at that. So,
okay, Ms. Joyce, did you want to chime in on the issue areas of Off Road where you saw the problem?
Hi, thank you. What was just said, it is a small portion that we were all referring to. And it is, I mean, it's very poor, and it does make us as a neighborhood feel bad that little portion hasn't been repaved compared to, Allentown Road and the other portion of Off Road. But if we can find out how we can get the state to do it or whatever, that would be wonderful. We just wanted to be uniform, and if also as a neighborhood, it makes us feel better knowing that, there's uniform, and that we matter also.
okay, what I would do is
travel road.
right. I will look into that. I mean, it's been as I mentioned, it's been a moment since so my memory isn't as fresh on that particular one, but I do recall it was the state portion that was bad, but given that it was small enough, it's possible that we might be able to do it. So I can get back to you. I can get back to the delegate Charles with with the status of that particular location.
Do we know what exact? I mean, I guess we do. Obviously, can you tell me exactly where we're talking about Off the Road?
I think that mention was near a bridge. There was a bridge that was nearby there, so it was somewhere. It looks like sometimes these small bridges don't have like approach slabs, so you get deterioration near the abutment, near the fixed abutment. So I think it was somewhere in that kind of an area there that they were referring to. But
It's from the bridge. Okay, yes, it's from the bridge. Okay, it's from the bridge all the way up to Allentown Road.
What bridge are we referencing?
The bridge is on Off Road. I'm sorry.
Right, but where on Off the Road? So there's a circle on Off the Road. Is it close to the circle? Is that what we're talking about?
No, that part was done. All of that, the circle you're referring to, going back to the metro, all of that was repaved.
So you're talking about Off the Road in between there and Allentown, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's county owned.
That's county. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got the only reason I'm looking at a map right now that's telling me who owns what, and I can't see anything actual visual. It's just like a regular street map, but the entire area. So for Off the Road, when you get off the Beltway, like you're going to Branch Avenue, and you got that little section of off that you have to turn left on to go to Branch Avenue.
Yeah.
From the 495 ramp to Branch Avenue, just that tiny section where you turn left and you turn right back on Branch Avenue is the only thing on Off Road, the State Highway Administration owns.
Right, that's that's the area.
So, yeah, everywhere from the Beltway to the traffic circle and then the traffic circle to Allentown Road is county.
I see. Okay. Well, let me double check, with what, they met out there with the state inspectors. And, I just need to refresh my notes. I don't have those with me as I'm speaking. So I don't want to misspeak, but I will get back to Delegate, Charles with an answer on that.
Yeah.
But-
And,
but-
and Ms.
but-
Joyce, Mr. Johnson and I work together all the time. Either way, we'll make sure that we address it
Yes.
and we'll report back on it. I promise you that.
Okay. And I just had Delegate Charles, if I just have a moment, I got some more information on Marlboro Pike. So phase one went from Brook Lane to Maryland 458 Silver Hill Road, and that's been completed. Phase two is going from the DC line to Brook Lane, and that's at 90% design. It has to go through the federal NEPA process, so that can be a bit time consuming. Depends how quickly that is. But we're shooting to probably advertise if everything goes well, to advertise later, late fiscal year 24, which would probably be the construction season of next year, like next summer thereabouts. So we would be, that's our plan. And phase three, which goes from 458 to the Beltway, design would start in fiscal year 24. And fiscal year 24 starts in July 1st through June 30th of next year. All right, so those are the three, and I can put that information in the chat if that is helpful to people.
Please do that.
Okay.
That way it's a documented record also.
Okay.
Of that. Now I see Mr. Behrend had an additional issue with the 34th Street Bridge. Mr. Behrend, you want to expound on that?
Yeah, sure. DPW&T did a levee rehab project and replaced the 34th Street Bridge, and construction finished last year. But as part of the project, they removed a crosswalk that was just north of the bridge that connected the trail. And then after the construction was completed, signs were added that tell pedestrians not to cross the street to continue on the trail. Instead, directed them to the next block to walk around and cross. So it turns a crossing that should be about 20-25 feet into a 600-foot crossing. But I would just appreciate revisiting and removing those signs and replacing the crosswalk that had been there for about 10 years before the project was implemented.
Justin, who's responsible? You may not know the answer off the top of your head now, but be good to know who the project manager is for that project and figure out what they have.
That was a DPW&T project, not MDOT.
Yeah.
Oh, that was DPWT. I'm sorry.
I'll have to
Mr.
check.
Johnson.
Yeah, I'll have to check as to why they felt it was necessary to remove the crosswalk. I don't know what the thinking was on that, but I took notes and I can get back on that.
Yeah,
Right,
let us know if
yeah.
there was a traffic study done that showed maybe more pedestrian injuries or something. Give us some rationale as to why. And
Right.
then if they can put that back, what type of safety provisions can be put in place to make that simpler.
Okay, I will do that. I just got some information on Off Road. I'm being told that it was recently paved, including the state's portion that they were not able to do, or it wasn't in their current program. So the complaint is saying that Off Road is still in poor condition.
Yes, I just the next question that was going to come up was from Ms. Joyce again. She said it was repaved end of last year, with the exception of 6700 Medford Way to Allentown Road. So that portion of road, what she's saying, it hasn't been repaved.
I see. Okay. Okay, I need to just check in on that there, because the information I'm getting is a bit different, but I'll check and get an answer back to you on that.
Okay.
Okay.
And same thing, Mr. Behrend, he is going to get back with that. And for the folks who have those issues, can you please put your emails in the inside the chat. That way he can capture it, and when he's responding back to me, he can get you a direct answer as well.
Thank you.
All right. Michael and Venetia, DPWT Director Johnson, when are the roads, South Springfield Road and Brandywine and Gardner Road and Accokeek scheduled for repaving? They both are full of deep potholes and gravel.
I will have to check on those. It's possible that they could be in the current program, but I don't have that information as I'm speaking, but I can get back. So you said Accokeek and Brandywine. Now Brandywine Road is an extremely long road. Is there a limit that you're speaking about? It's not the entire road that you're speaking about, correct?
They say
Director
the road South
Johnson.
Spring.
Right, it's South Springfield in Brandywine.
South Springfield, okay. I
Yeah,
got you.
South Springfield, it's not Brandywine Road.
Oh, okay, South Springfield,
So, yeah,
okay. And is
And
that the only
Gardner
road?
Road,
Right,
Accokeek.
and Accokeek, it's in Accokeek.
Gardner Road and Gardner Road and Accokeek.
Gardner Road, okay. All right, I'll get back with that as to where it is in the program. It's but the way our paving program is organized, it's in chunks of 2 fiscal years. So if it's not in 24, 25, we're sort of approaching 24, 25. It will be in in the next 2 years, 26, 25. So it'll be at most 2 years. If it is an issue, I'll have them take a look at it. They can put it, if it's not in the current 2-year chunk of the paving program, I can have them put it into the next 2 years, or so to be 2 years out. But
Yeah, it looks like what they're saying is some deep potholes. So, if it's deep potholes, that, very unsafe and issues that happens to people's vehicles as they're driving down those roads. So I don't know if it's not able to be put on the list, what you guys can do to get something done to address the pothole issue until you repave it 2 years from now.
Yeah, we can do that. We definitely, I'll have them take care of that. Tomorrow I'll pass it on to them and ask them to take care of any potholes in that area. But I'll also get back with where it is in the paving lineup, so to speak.
thank you, Director Johnson. This is Benita Brown, because on both of those roads, there have been some temporary repairs, but that just made it worse, I guess, over time. And so it's like a roller coaster ride.
Oh my, okay.
Parts of the street, both of those.
Okay. I will check and I will get back to you with some information on that.
Yes, sir. I'll put my email in the chat. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Ms. Goodwin, she's chimed in about Ritchie Road being repaved. It's in poor condition. And as while we're on the Ritchie Road, well, no, I'll go to that one later, the Ritchie Marlboro Road exit, but let's stick to the Ritchie Road. Is anything happening with Ritchie Road at all?
I don't believe that is in the current program, but I can have them assess the way. Just let me explain how our paving program works. We have a system that's called PAMS, which many people are familiar with, and it's a forward-facing system that anyone can look at the condition of all Prince George County roads in the entire county, and we rate it. We give a pavement condition rating. And based on the ratings of the roads, we are then able to sort of extract roads that are in need of repair. Now, clearly, we have more roads that are in need of repair than can fit into any particular year's program. So what we try to do within each of the councilmanic districts, we have 9 councilmanic districts, is to try to do work within each of those in a way that is somewhat equitable. So that's how we sort of put our program together. So it is possible that Ritchie Road did not make the cut for this particular program, but I could ask them to take a look at it and get back as to when it is likely to be a candidate for repaving. Where if we do have exigent conditions such as potholing or things of that nature, we can address that almost immediately. Right. I'll make sure that our Office of Highway Maintenance, takes a look and make sure that the road condition doesn't have potholes, but the paving is sometimes a lengthier process, getting roads into the program. But I will get back to you with an answer on that.
All right. Yeah, man, you got a lot of questions that came into you this month, Mr. Johnson.
Is DPWT a month? That's okay.
That's what it's looking like. That you guys are taking the brunt of the questions today. Justin sitting
I
back there.
didn't say about time. I promise you, I didn't say that.
All right. So let's jump to Mr. Vinny with XTT Life. Vinny, you had your hand up earlier. And as I said, I was going to open it up to folks after we went through the chat.
Delegate Nick Charles, I want to thank you so much for your email and also allowing me this platform to introduce me. I'm going to ask you to forgive me ahead of time because I got the Madam Comptroller and Council Member Tom DeNorga on another Zoom that I'm supposed to be speaking at. Director Michael Johnson,
yes,
I know
sir.
that you're being overwhelmed, sir. So I'm just going to get right to it. I was hoping to see if I could get on your schedule to either meet with you virtually or in person for about 20 minutes so I can share the analytics of what the two largest agencies have done. I'm the director of product advocacy for XTT Life, which is a certified Prince George County based business that supplies a burn rate modifier, where we're working with different municipalities in Montgomery County, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore City, Baltimore County. And as of late, we made our way over to Atlanta, Georgia, and also Washington, D.C., where not only are we saving about 10% on a total fuel bill for just a fraction of the cost, but more importantly, our burn rate modifier is reducing the greenhouse emissions or pollutants into the atmosphere. And it's documented that Prince George County has the worst quality of air in all of Maryland. And what I would like to do is connect with you and see if we cannot to do a pilot program with the Department of Public Works fuel stations over there that you guys have. So again, I was hoping to see if you can drop your email address, see if we can schedule a time so I can share those analytics with you and we can work together with reducing the greenhouse gases.
I mean, it sounds like a good idea, and I did send you my email. I think that your better bet would be to speak with Bryce Boyd, who's in charge of our Office of Highway Maintenance. He's the associate director in charge of that, and under him is our staff in the garage who are responsible for the fleet, and they would sort of be able to sort of speak with you in a more intelligent fashion than I would. I mean, I understand your product. I did sort of talk with in the Department of the Environment a little bit about it, but they are the ones who you should probably speak with. So I could put Bryce's contact information. In fact, Bryce, you're on. Can you just drop your contact information in the chat?
Thank you,
if
sir.
you guys can take that to the private meeting chat, so we can get to the rest of the community questions about issues pertaining to the roads. All right.
Okay.
Benny, there you go.
Thank you.
You spoke to Mr. Johnson, and you guys go to the chat, and you guys can handle it from there. Miss Wright, you had the next question. Miss Wright? Miss Phyllis? Okay, she'll come back. Miss Queen, if you could text Miss Phyllis and let her know.
Mr. Nick, I'm here. I'm sorry. I couldn't. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Capitol Heights Boulevard and Marlboro Heights. William Hall Academy is there. I watch kids every day cross that crossway, and there's no signs saying that the school is there besides the sign that says William Hall Academy. We need some safety because we do not have a crossing guard at Capitol Heights Boulevard, and it's not safe for those children who's running across the traffic, when there's a 4-light sign there. You have traffic coming straight across, going across left and right, and straight across. So we don't have a crossing guard there. So if we can have more signing there to let the people know that children are using these crosswalks, that'll be safer for the children. And if we can get a crossing guard up there, will be even perfect, because I see in the morning how kids are running, literally running across the highway trying to get to the school. Now, the community center is connected to the school, but my main concern is in the morning at 7:30, when the children are trying to get in the school building, there's no crossing guard there, Capitol Heights Boulevard and Marlboro Pike. I see a lot of construction going on the roads. It look like they're going over the same road every other week, the same spots. I don't know when they will finish. It's one at Brooks Drive and Marlboro Pike, and there's another one further up. I don't know. I know it's just on Marlboro Pike further up from there. But it looked like they constantly doing that same road repeatedly over and over. I don't know if it's a pipe busted or what the issue is, but it's unpaved. It's different colors on the side. And it looks like they doing that same thing like every other week. So maybe we need to find out what's going on with that. But my main concern is with the children, William Hall Academy, crossing Marlboro Pike, trying to get to the school, where there's no sign said that there's a school there first and foremost. And we don't have a crossing guard there. So if we can look into that, that would be perfect for me.
Captain Hanson, in terms, you knew that was coming up to you, didn't you?
Yeah.
About the crossing guard issue.
Yeah.
Is
How you
there a
doing?
way we
How you
can
doing,
do
Miss
that?
Wright?
Sir, how are you? I'm fine, but I'm worried
I'm
about
great.
the safety of my children.
Yeah, sure.
Crossing Marlboro Pike.
Sure. Can I give you a call tomorrow? We talk about it some more. We did some reorganization in the departments. I'm not really sure where our crossing guards fall under, but I'll find out and I'll figure out why we don't have a crossing guard there. I'll get you an answer.
Yeah, because we've had 2 incidents with kids being hit by a car there. So this needs to be addressed.
If I don't call you by like lunchtime, can you just shoot me a text or something, and I'll
will.
make sure that I follow. All right, sounds good.
I will. And one more thing, Nick, these restaurants that we have on Marlboro Pike, the upkeep, they're not upkeeping their property. Like by my house here, I have Hip Hop Chicken. They don't like to cut the grass. They don't like to clean up in the front of the establishment. The parking lots is usually dirt. I just had to get my neighbor's contractor to go over and cut their yard, and they tried to go back and forth that it wasn't their property, which it was. We need to do better with holding these restaurants accountable with cleaning up their establishments.
Well, I see we got Sonia Staples on from the county council, and that's our county specific issue with DPI.
Okay.
And so if you can, I know Sonia's heard it. We don't got to dive any deeper into it, Sonia. There's no need for you to chime in. You heard the complaint, the issue. Reach out to Ms. Wright and DPI about some of these things on Marlboro Pike. I know Walla and I, Councilwoman and I, have been working in tandem on different things, and she's a part of the now Marlboro Pike Partnership to address some of those issues along the Pike. So I'll make sure Sonia, I'll text Walla later, but Sonia, that's on you. Make sure you reach out to Walla about that in DPI.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, no problem. Then the next question, I see Judy Allen. Leventhal, Ms. Leventhal?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for doing this, as you've been doing. I have 3 things. First, for DPWT, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for the work on Bryan Point Road. We really appreciate the resurfacing there. And you still got to do the striping, but the resurfacing is terrific. And I have 3 things. And the second one is to ask about what the plans are for Livingston Road here in Accokeek between 210 and going down to, as far as the post office. And I'm sure that's in your system that I need to find out more about. But so I'm just raising that issue because like Bryan Point Road, which you've just done, Livingston Road is really in dire need of resurfacing. So that would be that system you mentioned.
Yeah, system, yes.
But thank you so much for the resurfacing. And
Sure.
my third thing is for Justin and really the MDOT folks. And this is the downed light poles that we have so many of, that they've been replaced. So these are the ones that don't function. And Justin, I've mentioned this to you many times, really, and I think you know about it, but it came up a couple more times, and there's like 4 or 5 of them along 210. And I think you know about them. I got an email from MDOT. I put in a service request a couple of years ago. They just closed it out by telling me that they can't do anything about it. But it just seems that there must be some entrepreneur somewhere who would like to recover that metal or something. There are so many of those poles. Again, they've been replaced, and these are the dead ones lying on the roadways, on the intersections, and you know where they are, right?
Yeah, Ms. Lovedoy, I absolutely do, and we have discussed this, and I will follow up again, but I will commit to you, because it has been a long time coming. I will talk to both our inspector who deals with the lighting in Prince George's County, as well as the Marlboro shop, and between one or the other, within the next 2 weeks, they'll have every pole removed that's down on the ground on 210. I'll commit to that. Your service request, I will look into that.
Okay.
Historically, our district, we get a tremendous amount of service requests through, and they do, especially when you're talking about like a district-wide contract project where we have to use a large contractor to get work done, they pile up because we can't go out daily and get some of these service requests closed. Right now, they're doing a big push to go through all the backlog of them and get them closed. That way we can focus on what's coming in now that's still there. Doing that, we're going to run into the issue just like you just had, where it's not taken care of, but it's being closed. I will address that concern tomorrow morning when I get in the office.
Thank you so very much. We really do appreciate all you're doing. So.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Ms. Leventhal.
You bet.
And so the next question, I see we have something else that came in for you, Mr. Johnson, like 2 different issues that came in for you. Ms. Tucker was looking to get a list of your county's annual CIP paving plan. Be good to get that out, just so folks can take a look and see where we are, where their communities are, and whether the roads for their neighborhoods fall in line to get repaved.
No, the way our program is set up, it's not sort of like in the way that a person could say, well, listen, it's going to happen on the 1st of June or 2nd of September or something like that. There are streets that are in, the 2-year paving program. So, as they work, there are a lot of variables that affect how much work can be done, the type of weather that you're having, things of that nature. There could be supply chain issues. There are a variety of other things that affect the amount of work that you can get done in any particular year. So if there's a particular street that is of concern, I think that would be better for me to be able to answer that than to sort of say, well, this is the entire global program that we're going to be paving. Our paving program isn't really set up in that way. So is there a particular street that's of concern? That'd be more helpful for me to sort of provide an answer.
Hi, may I respond? This is Marcia Tucker.
Yes, sure. Ms. Tucker, go ahead.
I was interested in my community street, the Wingate community, but
Wingate, okay.
Yeah, but we were not looking for dates. If we saw your 2-year plan, and I understand how that works, that things change, that would be very helpful for the public to see, to at least get an idea of the county's thought as far as where we're going to go. And as you make changes, you could post your changes. So it's not that we're looking for an exact date, or even, we would like to know if our streets fall in your 2-year plan. And if we don't see it, we would know, well, it's not going to be the next 2 years. But I think it would be really transparent for the county to post that information in what, and put your your footnote saying it's not cast in stone. So
Okay.
it's not
Understood.
pinning you to a date. It's just being more, better communication with your residents.
I understand. Okay. So can you put your contact information in the chat so I can follow up with you on that? Or
Okay, I can actually email you my email address so you get it in your email. I have your email address.
okay, great. That'd be fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tucker. And then looks like the Mr. Michael and Vanita, they provided their email addresses for their particular roads. Let's see who else. Belinda Queen, Miss Queen had both the county and the state highway issue. How often do we have someone going around cutting the trees and weeds back to see the roadway signs and speed limits?
All right. Good evening, Ms. Queen. It's a pleasure to talk to you as usual. And how often do we have somebody, this is specifically for the state, I would guess that the county is probably relatively similar. We have them go out routinely. It's actually one of our maintenance activities that is scheduled routinely, should be being done routinely, or as our crews see it, it should be taken care of. Now, obviously, because you're asking that question, there's somewhere that's not happening. So
yeah, I see a lot of it. I'm especially going on Central Avenue. It's a lot of times, and maybe that's the issue. They're not seeing it. So I'm not sure if you guys just have someone going around checking. It's a lot of signs that's hid behind weeds and trees, and it needs to be addressed.
okay. I will have a specific order. So you said 214, right?
Yeah, but I thought about that, but I'm like, I don't have time to go through this whole town county and take pictures of every sign I
I don't
see.
need to do that.
And so that's why I asked that question. How often do you do we have somebody who go and actually ride around the county and look? Because if not, then we'll just have to let people know when we see it. You guys, so let's send that in. But I was just curious if we do have someone to do it or not.
Yep, the state definitely does, yes. However, I would also say if you do find somewhere that is very, very bad, please let me know. That way I can get somebody out there to take care of it immediately.
I definitely will. I'll do the ones I see, but then I can let other people know. But I just wanted to make sure that we did have someone doing that. Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, all right. So the time is now 8:05. Ms. Tucker,
That
your
was
hand is
for
still.
the state, but what about county?
Okay.
No, the county has a similar approach, and the 311 is actually a terrific way to get the information. We are making a lot of improvements to how we're using 311 at DPWT, and that's the most efficient way to report a complaint like that. So if it is put in and it is a safety complaint, it is addressed almost immediately. So the time frames.
It really is, you guys, because these are street signs. Or I'm gonna say, watch out for children, and I'm like, why nobody are cutting these weeds back? But okay, thank you.
I think that's helped a bit, because just not as so much an excuse, but we have like 2,000 miles of roads that we have to maintain. So we don't really have someone just going around looking at that all the time. So if you see it and you report it to 311, we will address it immediately, because that is a safety concern. So that's the best way for us to communicate with you.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Tucker, I see your hand is still raised. I take it your answer was addressed already. So okay, all right. So the time is now 8:06. We are a little bit hour into the meeting, and so I don't see any other questions or any other issues. Mr. Johnson, you got a healthy amount of actions that came out of the meeting. People looking for some answers. If you can reach out to them early on, or when we follow up in the next month's meeting, we can address all of these issues and concerns through that channel as well. If it takes a while to get the answer you're looking for. Captain Hansen, I think you had maybe 1 or 2 actions that came out of this. And then Justin, I don't know if you had 1 action that came out of this meeting. So Justin, you've been on it, man. You got some things rolling. I have one last thing, and I hate to pile up on your plate, Mr. Johnson, but you know, every time I drive to go to my mother's house, down Pennsylvania Avenue, Ritchie Marlboro Road, going that way, right on that off ramp that takes you towards Rural Farms and where all of the newer houses are, that off ramp, it is trash. It's like folks are using that as a dumping ground every chance they get. It's constantly filled up with trash over there. So between Captain Hanson, that may be one of those spots where we can figure out how to put cameras to capture a lot of these folks who are dumping trash there, because it's constantly there. And this is one of our newer communities we have in the county, and it's like you're driving through trash to get to a brand new damn near $1 million development. And so you know how I feel about it over here on our sides of town. Just want to address that across the rest of the county and other places as well. So
sure, we
can do
will have
something.
them take a look at that. We do have a very aggressive litter endeavor, so we'll have them take a look at that. I did have one request for the stuff that's in the chat. Can Becca send me a copy of this? I've been taking notes, but I just want to make sure I got everything, because sometimes it's hard to scroll it and see. Is that possible?
Yep.
For
No, that's very possible. She'll
Okay.
get that out to you.
Great, thank you.
No
Thank you so much.
problems. Becca, please make sure you do that. And this,
I have the chat saved, so I'll make sure I get you a copy of that by tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Yep, if you can get that to Captain Hanson, also to Justin and also Mr. Johnson, that'll be great. But I think we are done. It's 8:09. I want to thank you all for showing up to the meeting. You know, you didn't have to be here, but you were here today, and that's what counts. You know, when it comes to making our community a better place, it takes every single one of us, not from just one area of the county, but from all areas of the county, and that's what makes Prince George's the jewel that it is. So thank you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. No problem at all. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next month as we do this again.